I hadn't even cut the engine before my stomach dropped. My cabin door was wide open, and a stranger was standing inside. Within minutes, the HOA president was on the driveway smirking as she called the cops on me, claiming I was trespassing in my own home. And in that moment, as sirens wailed in the distance, I realized Karen wasn't just nosy, she was dangerous. When I bought my cabin in Echo Hills, it was supposed to be my safe place. A little wooden retreat tucked into the trees where the biggest sound at night was the rustle of leaves. I'd spent years saving for it, decorating it, paying off that stubborn mortgage. It was mine. That's why, coming back early from my trip felt almost like a surprise gift to myself. I was going to get an extra quiet night. But instead, I stepped into the kind of nightmare I didn't think happened outside of movies. The woman inside, hoodie, pale face, startled eyes, looked at me like I was the intruder. I didn't expect you back so soon," she stammered. My voice cracked, sharp, demanding. "Who are you? What are you doing in my cabin?" She froze, glanced at the door like she was about to bolt, and then I heard it, that voice I'd know anywhere. "Oh, there you are, Karen Mitchell." 50-something president of the HOA Queen Bee of Echo Hills, standing in my driveway with her arms crossed like she owned the entire neighborhood. She had that smug half-smile, the kind that makes your skin crawl. "I was just helping a friend get settled in. Thought you'd be gone longer." I swear, I felt the air leave my lungs. Helping a friend. In my house. "What do you mean, settled in?" I shot back. Karen waved her hand like I was being dramatic. "Don't act surprised, Emily. I told you I'd check on the place while you were gone. She just needed somewhere to stay for a while." That's when the rage hit me. My pulse pounded in my ears. "You have no right to put someone in my cabin, Karen." "None." I stepped closer, but she just tilted her head, raised her phone, and with this sly grin said, "I think it's time we get the authorities involved. You shouldn't be coming back here like this." I blinked. "Authorities? For what?" She smirked. "For trespassing. You're not supposed to be here, Emily. My friend was just keeping an eye on things for you." Then she actually dialed. And seconds later, sirens. Echo Hills had never felt quieter than in that moment, the wail of the cops echoing through the trees like some cruel joke. The officer who pulled up looked tired, like he'd seen his share of nonsense. He glanced at Karen, then at me, then at the stranger still hovering in my doorway. Karen was already in performance mode. "Officer, thank goodness you're here. She's not supposed to be here, she's trespassing." I stepped forward, my voice shaking with rage. "This is my property. My name's on the deed. I have no idea who this woman is, and I never gave permission for her to be here." The cop studied us both, skeptical, cautious. Karen leaned in, sweet as honey. "I was just trying to help, officer. She's been gone so long I thought the place was abandoned." And I'll admit it. In that second, with the cop staring at me, Karen spinning her lies like silk, I faltered. I wondered if I was overreacting. Was I too uptight, too controlling? Maybe I did sound hysterical, barging in, yelling. My voice cracked, my chest tight. For the first time, I actually thought, what if I can't prove I belong here? What if she wins? That night, I sat in the cabin alone, replaying every word, every smug look on Karen's face. And I felt something I hadn't in years, powerless, like she had already taken everything I'd worked for. I wanted to give up. Sell the cabin, leave Echo Hills behind, let her win. But then Sarah the stranger pulled me aside. Her voice shook, her eyes darted everywhere. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Karen told me it would be fine. She said she arranged it." And just like that, something in me snapped back into place. This wasn't paranoia. This wasn't me overreacting. Karen had orchestrated everything. The next day, I met Officer Jacobs, a younger cop who actually listened. He leaned in, voice low. "Start documenting everything. Get recordings, texts, witnesses. File a formal complaint. Don't let her spin this." That was the spark I needed. From then on, I fought. I recorded Karen's snide comments, her little slips when she bragged about keeping the neighborhood safe. I gathered texts from neighbors who admitted she'd spread rumors about me abandoning the cabin. And Sarah Blesser agreed to testify that Karen pressured her into staying there. The showdown came faster than I expected. Karen called an emergency HOA meeting, eager to drag my name through the mud. The room was packed, neighbors lining the walls, arms folded, waiting for a show. Karen started strong, her voice dripping with faux authority. "This resident has failed our community. She leaves her property unattended, brings disorder." I stepped in only to protect Echo Hills. I stood, my heart pounding, but my voice steady. Protect it. By planting a stranger in my home. By calling the cops on me, accusing me of trespassing in my own cabin. Gasps rippled through the room. Karen's smile faltered just slightly. Then I played the recording. Her voice clear as day. She just needed somewhere to stay. Emily won't be back anytime soon. The room erupted. Murmurs, whispers, heads turning toward Karen. Sarah stood up, trembling but resolute. She told me it was fine. She pressured me. I never wanted to lie. Karen tried to claw back control, her words sharp, desperate. I was keeping the neighborhood safe. That's what good neighbors do. But the cop in the room, Jacobs, cut her off. "Good neighbors don't break the law. You had no authority, ma'am. You crossed the line." Her face turned red, lips pressed tight. For once, the smugness was gone. She looked smaller, cornered, her power crumbling right there under the fluorescent lights of the HOA hall. The neighbors, people who once avoided my gaze, were glaring at her now. The queen bee stripped of her crown, and just like that, it was over. The board voted to remove her as president. The police took her statement, promising further investigation. Karen stormed out head high but eyes burning with the realization that she'd lost. I stood there, my hands still trembling, staring at the doorway she'd just disappeared through. For weeks, she'd tried to make me feel powerless, invisible, like my own home wasn't mine. And in the end, all it took was the truth. Sometimes the battle isn't about the property, the rules, or the paperwork. It's about standing up when someone decides they can walk all over you. Because bullies don't stop until you make them.